Hey guys, it's your girl Just Being. I'm coming at you guys with a different type of video today. So today we're doing a story time video, and I'm about to put out my apartment series video real soon. I still have a few things that I need to personally do before I sit here and give anybody any advice. But due to the fact that I'm putting that out, I was like, you know what? Let me do a story time on why I don't do roommates. So in my lifetime, I've had 2 roommates, and I'm gonna have 2 parts to this video. So the first part, we're gonna start with roommate number 1, and then the second part we'll do roommate number 2. I really feel like I kind of could count boyfriends as roommates in a sense, but it's a whole nother level when it's you and another woman. So my first roommate experience, I moved out of my parents' house. I'm gonna say I was like 24. I had kind of dropped out of college and was just working full time, and I needed my own space. Okay, so this girl who I went to high school with, we'll name her Kelly. Okay, that'll be her name. So me and Kelly went to the same high school. I don't think she was there the whole entire time, but I do remember the time her being there. She was not my favorite person, and I'm gonna be honest. Like, she was never my favorite person in the world ever. Like, and I remember there was a point in time, cause Kelly talks. Kelly runs her mouth. Kelly is big and bad. You know what I mean? So it's just like there was a point in time where I wanted to put hands on Kelly at one point in time. But this is just as deadly as these. Okay? And I just remember being like, girl, I ain't bothered by Kelly until you have more than 15 braids in your head and you're calling them singles. Don't come for me. And they wasn't jumbo braids, but I digress. So Kelly needed help paying rent, and I needed to move out and start like my own independence. So me and Kelly, we came up with a rental agreement, wrote it out together, signed the paper, I paid a security deposit, boom, moved my stuff in. I'm so excited, whatever, right? Now here's where I went wrong. I will definitely say where I went wrong in this situation. With roommates, you should never try to be your roommate's friend. Either it happens naturally or it don't happen at all. But you really shouldn't try to befriend your roommate. You know, you could be friendly, but trying to befriend them, I think that's where I went wrong personally. And I'm gonna admit that. So I'm pretty sure I was never Kelly's favorite person either, but I feel like Kelly probably felt like, okay, well, I know she'll pay rent, so, you know, and she ain't like crazy out there, so okay, yeah, we can do this. By the way, my fan about to be on, y'all, because this is mad hot. I just want y'all to say that. I know you're gonna hear it, but I just want to put that disclaimer out there. So I move in, everything's cool. You know, of course, when you give people money, okay, everybody all nice, everything's all good, everything's going great. Now here was the first red flag. So I had all my stuff in my room. Kelly already had her living room furnished. You know, her dining room furnished. Like, she had her own stuff there. Regardless of if I felt like it may have been passed down or picked up off a corner somewhere, it was still her stuff in her place. So it was like, okay, so I felt like I needed to keep all my stuff in my room. So at the time I had a DVD player and I had DVDs. I had like a collection, and I didn't have anywhere to put them. So what I did was, my top 2 drawers on my dresser used to be my underwear drawers. Like, I used to put all my underwear in there. And so when I started, you know, having nowhere to put my DVDs, I put some in the closet, and I was like, you know what? One of these drawers up here, I'm gonna just make a DVD drawer, and I'm gonna do it the drawer right, like under the DVD player, because I have my TV on my dresser and my DVD player on the dresser. No, this ain't that long ago. I still have this DVD player to this day, and it's 2020, okay? I got all these DVDs. What you think I'm gonna do, throw them away? Girl, bye. So I want you to keep that in mind, because that's very important, right? I have these DVDs in one of my top drawers. I only cleared out one of the drawers full of panties and bras. So now I only have one drawer full of panties and bras. So one day I come home and Kelly's in a good mood. She's talking. You know, Kelly has her moods. Sometimes she be in her room. She don't say shit to nobody. That's fine. You know what I mean? I was working long hours. I didn't care. But Kelly was in a good mood. And we were talking. And we were about to make dinner and eat dinner together. Whatever. So I was like, we should watch a movie. Because we didn't have cable. I was like, we should watch a movie. I was like, I know the perfect movie. I was like, it's From Paris with Love with John Travolta. And she was like, oh yeah, I just seen that. That movie hella good. I'm like, really? Oh, that's so crazy. I have the movie. Yeah, I borrowed it. What? What? So I instantly get on the phone with my friend. Like, I just walk away. And I instantly get on the phone with my friend. I'm like, bruh, that rubbed me completely the wrong way, because who would think that DVDs would be in somebody's dresser drawers? Like, almost everybody makes the first two drawers their underwear or panties, or they undershirts. Like, what would make, so you went in my room and you was going through my shit. Okay, so I'm telling this to my friend, right? So my friend's like, So my friend went and bought me a knob with the lock. You know, so I could lock my door when I'm not there. I was working long hours. I was a manager at a grocery store. I was working long hours. And so I never told my roommate that I was doing it. I changed the doorknob when she wasn't there. Baby, when I was at work and she was like, oh, so you have a lock on your door now? I was like, yeah, and I have the original doorknob. I will put the regular doorknob on it when I move out. You know what I'm saying? So she hella felt some type of way. And I was like, yeah, my friend got it for me. And at the time, my friend was a acquaintance of hers. I won't say that they were friends, but they were definitely acquaintances. They had went out to the bar a few times together. So they knew of each other. So they end up getting into it. Like, I guess she ended up texting my friend some crazy stuff, and I don't know if I was mixed in there because my friend never really gave me the full detail of why they got into it. We ain't friends no more either. At this point, I'm like, okay, she can invade my privacy and smile in my face. So now I'm moving a little bit different. I'm not trying to be as friendly as I was before, but I'm still trying to be friendly because at the end of the day, like, I pay rent, I live here. Why should I have to feel uncomfortable? You know what I'm saying? We only got a little 6-month lease together. That's what we wrote out. So why should I feel uncomfortable and I'm paying rent? So Kelly had a side dude, and I call him a side dude because he already had a main course and some other stuff. So I'll say her side dude was a chef, and we'll call him Spaghetti. We'll call him Spaghetti. So Spaghetti was a chef, and he would come over and he would cook all this food, use all these pots, pans, and utensils, okay? Come over here cooking up a storm for him and Kelly, and then leave the motherfucking kitchen dirty. She had to be in cleaning moods to clean. Like, at a point, I got to a point where at first, you know, I'm like, okay, I live here, whatever, like, I'll clean up extra, whatever. But no, what? These sporadic moments that you feel in Cleansville, only when somebody coming over, like, that's when I'll know her side dude coming over. That's when she gets these moods to clean up, like, it's somebody coming. But any other time, sis would be in her room, in her bed, under a rock. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or laying on the couch eating something. Like, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? So it was to the point where I was like, I'm not washing dishes. Like, I'm just gonna leave them here. He, like, no, bro. When I say he used all the pots, pans, and utensils, plates, cups, the sink would be full. Like, it's stacked, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes it would start to stink. Girl, so I started being petty and I wasn't cleaning up no more. Like, I literally got paper plates and paper cups. Like, literally was... My roommate also had this thing where she wanted the PG&E bill to be, I guess, as low as possible. And so everything had to be unplugged after you use it except for the stove. You unplug the microwave, everything but the stove and the refrigerator is two things you don't unplug. Everything else needs to be unplugged. Baby, you splitting it now. What? I don't understand what the problem was, but that was her thing. She used to unplug everything. But back to the dishes. So he would come over, he would cook all the shit, and then I used to hear her talk shit about me to him. Like, our bedrooms are literally side by side. I would hear her talking shit about me to him. Because I'm gonna be honest. Okay, so this is where I was messing up as a roommate. So this was my first time officially living away from my parents. And at my parents' house, I couldn't have no male company like that. So I definitely was having male company, having extracurricular activities on my little 2 off days a week. And I think just due to the fact that all Kelly had was her side dude, it was like, here's this big girl, and she's just living her best life. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I was doing. But we'll talk about that on another video, because all that shit is not as empowering as motherfuckers trying to make you feel like it is. So me and Kelly actually really was kind of starting to get along. Like, I worked a lot, so it wasn't like I'm always there, I'm all up under her. Like, I paid my bills, I did what I needed to do, you know what I mean? We used to have breakfast together, you know, even days I had work, like before I had work. Kelly was a very, 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 very talented breakfast cooker, or breakfast chef, I guess I call her. Baby could make breakfast just like breakfast, okay? Like, it was so good. And so she was like a breakfast person, I was a dinner person. So like, it worked out, you know? So we used to eat breakfast together. I remember around Christmas time, Best Man Holiday had came out. And me and her, we went to go see it together. We cried together. So it was like, I thought me and Kelly was really bonding, right? But let's not forget, Kelly does this. Kelly does this. At some point in time in December, Kelly's little sister, we'll name her Nelly for the sake of rhyming, right? So Kelly's little sister needed to come stay with her for a little bit. I had no problem with it. I didn't care, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really didn't go in the living room and stuff like that too much. And I just felt like I stayed in my room 9 times out of 10, so I didn't care. I didn't want to, I also, like, sidebar, like, I didn't want to have company and be in the living room because Kelly be air hustling. You know what I'm saying? Kelly be trying to listen. Kelly be, all of a sudden needs to come out her room a whole bunch of times because she needs to see what your company look like and stuff. So I was like, when her sister came, it was like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't use the living room, so you do you. Like, we don't have company over here, or when I do, they can't see the living room, so you good. Girl, Christmas Day, like Christmas Eve, I spent the night with my family. Christmas Day, I go back home, right? I go back home, happy, got my little gifts, eat some little leftover food from my mama's house, and all hell breaks loose. Kelly and Nelly are fighting. The girls are fighting. The girls are fighting. Kelly and Nelly are fighting, and Kelly was the aggressor. Kelly was the aggressor. Kelly was the one who was going off, like doing all this and that. Kelly was exactly what I just said. She was the aggressor, and she was talking a lot, you know. Oh, and Nelly was the one who really put the pause low key, but Kelly is bigger than Nelly. Nelly is a little thing. You know what I'm saying? She's an adult, but she was a little petite and short little thing. So I believe it was the neighbors who called the police. I don't know who called the police on Kelly, but I think it was the neighbors who called the police. And so the police officers was at our door, and they really tussled each other up. They was all on the front porch. It was a lot. So the police officer was like asking Nelly, do you have somewhere you could go for the night? Because at the end of the day, like, that ain't her house. She don't live there. And it just, Kelly damn near was on some I want to press charges type stuff. Even though she was the one who was the aggressor, she still felt like she was in the right. And it was Christmas Day. It just seemed very disheartening to have to find somewhere to go at nighttime on Christmas Day. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it was the day before Christmas Eve. Either it was the day before Christmas Eve or it was Christmas Day. It was one of the two. I can't remember either. I really don't remember. It was a lot because I had to get dragged into it. So now I have to be the one to drive around town and help sis find somewhere to go. Like, it was a mess. And that's when I started feeling like, okay, if Kelly acts a certain type of way to her sister, and that's her sister, Kelly ain't gonna have no loyalty or no nothing to me. You know what I mean? And her, like I said, her sister was not the aggressor. Kelly was the aggressor. So I was like, okay. But Kelly did get banked on. I was really shocked. I was like, normally, you know, people always say, like, the person who talked the most normally get bopped the most. You know what I'm saying? It was just, like, really shocking to see, like, the big sister get beat up by the little sister a little bit. And she was little, but she was moving. Kelly was kind of slow. What was the final straw for me? Of course, there was so many other little things going on, but what was the final straw for me was Kelly had her friend come over with her kids. And I know her friend because her friend went to the same high school that me and Kelly went to. And her friend was like, oh, do you want to come watch this movie with us? Whatever. I had just got home or whatever. She was like, oh, do you want to come watch this movie with us? And I was getting ready to come watch the movie with them. And Kelly was like, no. Like, and Kelly's the type of person, like, she'll be the type of person just to be negative for entertainment for herself, but maybe really not mean it. And it was just to the point where it was just like, I'm just tired of feeling uncomfortable. I'm just tired of feeling uncomfortable. She's weird. Like, that was the conclusion that I came up to. Our personalities really don't mesh. You go through my stuff. You're always trying to count my company, what I eat, what I cook, how I clean. Like, I've never seen somebody watch me so much. That was just like, you know what? I gotta get the fuck up out of here. Like, I do. Because you can only suppress so much stuff before you reach your boiling point and you go the fuck off. And clearly, actually, you know what? I don't know if the neighbors called the cops or if Kelly called the cops. Kelly might have been the one that called the cops. It's very, like, it was my first time moving out, y'all, so it's so long ago. But it could have, y'all, Kelly was weird, okay? Kelly was weird. And that was just a really good life lesson because it was just like, you can't just move in with anybody. You really need to see if your shit mesh because security, you know what I'm saying? Like, knowing that your place is secure, that can't nobody just come and go through your stuff and ain't people just running in and out your house and all up in your stuff, or, you know, like, even worse, like, we were getting eviction letters on the door. Like, Kelly was having, like, difficulties with jobs or whatever, and you know how you start a new job and you don't get paid? Like, she was just going through a lot in between changes, and I feel like she was spending my half of the rent money on, like, gas and PG&E and trying to prioritize it like that because she was, like, on when I had my rent money, baby. Like, she was on it, and sometimes I would try to give it early or whatever, but she was just really on it. But then we still getting eviction notices. We were still getting notices. And the amount of rent I was paying was more than half of what the apartment was. And I later on found out. She told me the apartment was one price, and I found out it was another price. So it was just a lot of stuff going on. I just didn't feel safe. I didn't feel secure. I felt like she was crazy a little bit. And I just felt like this is the type of person that you keep as an acquaintance or not. And... yeah, you thank her for this opportunity, you get your motherfucking money, and you go about your business. And that is exactly what I did, and I didn't look back. Kelly does still follow me on social media, but I think it's more on her trying to be on some messy type of shit. And I'm like, bitch, you can look at my life all you want to. You only gonna see what I want you to see, baby. Necessarily, like, me and Kelly didn't necessarily have like a screaming match or have any altercations, but it was just a lot of sneaky, underhanded stuff, and I was just like, you know what, I'm cool. And I thought what I thought was the problem was that me and Kelly were not friends prior to moving in. I thought that's what the problem was, but that wasn't the problem, because in part 2, this next person, I'll name her Shelly. Okay, Shelly and I were best friends before we moved together. But you gotta be careful who you call your best friend, especially when you ain't spent that much time with them and you ain't never lived with them. Because my mama used to always tell me it's a whole nother story when you live with a person. And I really didn't understand that. Like, even I remember my sisters telling me, like, don't do roommates, you know. But just financially, roommates just make so much sense. So ultimately, I put in my 30-day notice with Kelly. I was able to get on somebody's Craigslist, find me a little place, my own little house, an in-law suite, and was able to move out, stay with my mom and dad for like 2 weeks, and then move into my new place. So I invited Kelly to my housewarming. She looked a little salty, a little bitter. But yeah, that was just that, you know, and I learned a valuable lesson. And I thank God that the experience didn't get worse, because I've heard a lot of other people's roommate stories, and yes, mine is weird, but people went through way worse stuff. My second experience was on a whole nother level than the first one. I feel like my second experience kind of made Kelly look, no, there's no way. No, when I tell y'all, Kelly was a lot, y'all. Kelly was a lot. And like I said, and also too, I felt like moving into somebody else's stuff that they already have, you're very limited, you know, versus you and another person going to look for a place together and then going to get that place together and signing on a lease. That's a whole nother different level of respect, I also feel as well. I definitely feel like even though I was paying rent and I was contributing to groceries and paying PG&E and all these other things, I definitely still felt like I was in her house and had to be very respectful of her rules, and there was a lot of them. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and as always, love me to you. Have a beautiful, blessed day.